Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is One Accord Level 2 podcast. Hope everybody's being blessed, safe, and well. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody has been hanging on, and many prayers for comfort, healing, strength, and peace to all who need it. So the Final Four is set. Duke, Florida, Houston, and who is the 14? Duke, Florida, Houston, and Auburn. So you have those teams. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I don't like Duke. I'm a North Carolina fan, so you already know how that goes. but they're ultra talented. They're long. They're athletic. They can play in in different ways. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But have to make sure, that they we got to make sure they don't make it. Oh my gosh, I hope they lose by like a point on a heartbreaker, whatever it is. My North Carolina Tar Heels, we did not make it, and we are we're behind. I was talking to my mom and talking to some other people at work the other day about what I'm used to as a Carolina fan. See, sometimes you get spoiled being a fan. And, when they recruit the right way, and they get the right people in the building, I will give you, I will give you 3 players that, or maybe even 4, that I think about when I think about the Carolina Blue. And also, I need to segue into this as well. The women lost to Duke. North Carolina women, and congratulations on, a good season, what I'm saying, but I am so upset. Like, I can't stand Duke. But with that being said, Antoine Jamison, Rasheed Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse, Marvin Williams, those long, lengthy, athletic guys, who can play, especially when it comes to Rasheed Wallace, Antoine Jamison, and Marvin Williams. Those are my 3 favorite Carolina players ever. And they just, length changes the game. And you can only do so much with that length, I miss that. So when I look at Duke, the same thing I'm saying about Duke is the same thing I'm saying about North Carolina and, not about North Carolina, about Ohio State and Michigan. Do not ever think, or do not ever not assume that Ohio State is not looking at what Michigan's doing. And do not ever assume vice versa that Michigan's not looking at Ohio State was doing. Because look at the past 5 years. Michigan has beat Ohio State. And then before that, Ohio State was whooping up on them cats like almost 9 years in a row, something like that. So, like I said, don't ever think that the other teams aren't looking at what they're doing. So, I just, are we going to recruit what we need? Is the question. Are we going to do it? I mean, he's been, Davis has been the coach for a couple years now. Maybe 3 years. And I'm only going to give him another 3 years. Because I don't understand, how, I'm not saying it's not hard to recruit right now because of NIL, all the other extra things that are going on. But you can't find a nice guy who's 6'10", and I mean nice. I mean like he can hoop. You hear guys saying like he nice, man. Like he got game. Like you can't find a 6'10", 6'11" guy out here. They're growing on trees now. See, they ain't growing on trees like that back in the day. I mean, you had some guys that were big, but some of them were unathletic and some of them were unskilled. They just were good at rebounding and putbacks and stuff. Okay. Well, now, yeah, they're everywhere. So it's just like, what is stopping him from being so great about getting a big man and getting recruiting and stuff like that. Because when we play Duke, when we play Auburn, and we play all these other good teams, if you don't have no size, you're not going to be able to do a thing. I don't care what it is. Like Florida State was one of the tallest teams like in the whole nation. And they got guys that are 6'9", 6'10", 6'11" that are playing the 3, 4, and the 5. And sometimes, depending on who they're guarding, they might even have them playing the 2. So it's just like, what? What are we doing? I want them to get back to having a traditional 6'10", 6'11", 7-footer on the block who can score, who can rebound, and who can shoot. Because some of the big men that we have that are playing out, they can't shoot, and they can't shoot free throws. It's just like, no. It's like, no, we need to get some big men down there that can shoot free throws, shoot jumpers, and have good footwork in the paint and be able to get on the paint and get on the block and do a thing. See, I'm a searcher. I leave no stone unturned. Let me go look for the players that I want. See, if I was a coach, I'd be going to look for the most athletic, the most and one of the big men in the world. You know what I'm saying, wherever that they are, and I'd be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see your game. Like, I want to see you, on the block, scoring on the block, not just shooting threes. Like, because anybody can do that now. Like, but can you score on the block? Can you work in the post? Like, can you get down there? You know what I'm saying? And can you make free throws when you need to make free throws? I think those come hand in hand. So when I look at before I get back to Carolina, so when I look at Florida, Duke, Auburn, and Houston, they all can make their, for the most part, they all can make their free throws. So, it's just like, so when I look at Carolina, man, it's hard to watch sometimes. And it seems like, they don't do good, then they go and win the streak, and then they just don't do good. It's just like, no, we need to be consistent. I miss the consistency. I miss it all. So we're going to have to figure that out, like I said. And, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if I need to write a letter to Hubert Davis and, just figure out, what's going on. But I need to know what is going on with my team because I want to win. I hate losing. But more importantly, I hate it that you could go get some players or go get a guy or a couple guys and then you just don't. It's just like you can only have so many guards on the team, bro. Listen, these small forwards nowadays, these two guards, I'm not just talking about the 1s, 2, but I'm talking about these 2s, 3s, and 4s, bro. They're like 6, 7, and up. When you're playing small forward, you need to be at least like 6'7", between 6'7" and 6'11". Like these guys are longer and athletic. They're more agile. They can shoot. They can run the floor. And they playing D. It's like, what are you doing? So I need them to recruit that because I know Cooper Flagg is probably going to the NBA, and I know a couple other guys are going to the NBA. But guess what? After you look at the rosters, there's too many guys are just so athletic now. They're just you have to have wings to be able to cover. You have to. You can have all the great guards, shifty guards, crossover like Kyrie and doing all that stuff. But if you do not have anybody to guard them wing players and wing defenders, you're going to get smoked. End of story. You can change your game plan and your defensive shifts all you want to, but eventually you're going to need to have somebody who, if he's 6'9", you need to have him be at least 6'8", 6'9", and or 6'10", and be able to guard. You just have to. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to the games though. Like I said, I hope Duke doesn't win, and I'm glad the female Duke team lost. Actually, they lost to South Carolina, so I'm very happy about that. But if I had to choose right now, just off of my money, I'm gonna say, Auburn, and I'm going to say Florida. I think those are the two teams that I'm seeing go. Like I said, I don't even know. I think Auburn plays Houston, and I think Florida plays Duke, or it's it's Auburn versus Florida. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. It's Auburn versus Florida. I don't know, man. That's a toss up. My gut tells me Auburn, but I think Florida could pull it off. And Duke versus Houston, I'm gonna pick Duke because I think Duke is the better team. I don't want them to win, but Duke's the better. I think Duke is the better team. And we'll just see what happens, man. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a knockout slugfest. I don't see either game going over 80. And if it does, I would be highly surprised because these are four of the most best defensive teams in the whole whole nation anyway. And the numbers might not say it, but hey, they're in the Final Four for a reason. So, like I said, we're going to see what happens. But Hubert Davis, please get back to recruiting what Carolina needs. Please do it because we need it. This is One Accord Level 2 Podcast. Again, hope everybody's blessed, safe, and well. Hope you enjoyed the podcast today. And guess what? Stay tuned for more content. And hey, we're going to try to keep you updated about everything as much as possible. Be blessed, be well, and I'll holler at you on the flip side.